Hi, I'm Craig Puckett. I'm the Government Affairs Director here at the association, and with me I have Elizabeth Hude. She is the Community Development Director for the City of Mason. She's here to talk about some incentives that the city is working on to incentivize housing. You're looking at making some changes to the city's master plan. And for those that are a little unfamiliar, can you explain what a master plan is?
Yes, thank you, Craig. Thanks for having us today. So the master plan is a 20-year vision. It's really intended to be the community's vision for the future, and it guides policy. It lets our elected officials know what the community's will is and how to guide policy changes, spending, infrastructure. At the end of the day, place is product. Our product is our place, and so we want to, make sure that we preserve what we care about, what's unique, what we want to maintain for the future, and then really address some of those changes that are sort of creating a need in other areas.
So in developing the master plan, you sought public input from the residents of Mason. What did you hear back from them?
It started out, the master plan is a document that is, according to the Michigan Planning Act, to be updated every 5 years. And so this year we decided that we wanted to do some extensive outreach. So we started out with our planning commission and our city council members and put them together in a workshop and decided, what type of questions, what did we want to really focus on, what type of outreach did we want to do with with the public. We wanted to make sure that we had representation from as many sectors and as many voices that we could possibly get with our master plan. So we did some general outreach. We went where people were. We had booths at down home days. We, at some of our festivals and shows, we had some open houses, and then we did some focus groups. We had online opportunities, we had in-person opportunities, so we met with our general population. We had a survey that went out. We partnered with the school district, and they were able to send out the survey to their audience, all the parents and teachers. And then we tried to reach out to people who rented. We wanted to be very specific about reaching property owners, homeowners, and renters. And we also did focus groups with developers, with realtors, we had a topic on historic preservation, arts and culture, and our businesses, of course, making sure that we heard voices, again, from all different sectors in the community.
Great. And was there any overarching theme from that response, or?
I would say yes. We learned a lot during COVID, and so in particular with our businesses, we want to make sure that we're really listening to them, that we want to be as market-driven as possible. And with zoning, the master plan influences policy and zoning land use. So when we look at land use and we look at zoning, where things go, and we wanted to make sure that we were more flexible in different districts. So if it's a commercial district, listening to the businesses and saying, listen, we need the flexibility to do more outdoor. So with restaurants during COVID, it was outdoor seating. How do we make that process faster? How do we help businesses get through a permitting process as easily as possible, quickly and easily, so that they can be responsive to their customers. So that was something that we learned that we want to be a little more flexible about.
Did you hear anything specific from developers regarding housing?
We did. In general, we learned a lot about the cost associated with development, the purchasing of the land, cost per square foot for construction versus, rehabilitation of a building, the need for smaller lot sizes. So, when we get to the topic of influencing policy and zoning, looking at lot sizes and looking at, parking requirements, which takes up land. So really listening to them and hearing, okay, if in order for us to come into your community and be successful and offer market rate housing or more entry-level housing, these are some of the things that we're looking for. And then density on the property, the return on investment. When you build something new, a project, a lot of times downtown, we'll say, well, why is it only 3 stories? And, back in the day, that was as tall as the fire truck ladder could go. So that's why it's 3 stories. So today, we think about elevators. If a building is built and someone goes up 3 stories, well, you have to put an elevator in, and the cost for an elevator, well, maybe we need to go up 4 stories, and so that the developer has more incentive to invest in that property and get a return on it. So that was the type of conversation we had, was, okay, here's what it costs me to build a home. And so we're looking at changes to lot sizes and different setback requirements, and again, height and density, and what we can do to in what areas of town.
Okay, yeah, since you're touching on some of those specific things, is there anything else that is being proposed as zoning amendments in this master plan?
We are looking a lot at, again, lot sizes, setbacks, sort of those details that impact density and, again, the return on investment in a property. What we came out with from our public input sessions was, people were really concerned about making sure that Mason stayed welcoming, charming, and safe. So how do we implement welcoming, charming, and safe? And it's a matter of taking a look at, with regard to charming, again, places, product. When someone drives into Mason, or any community really, they look at the architecture, they look at the streetscape. So looking at our zoning and saying, okay, well, we know that in historic neighborhoods, we want to make sure that there's a certain development pattern, in terms of housing and front porches. Front porches are important in Mason.
Right.
So making sure that we have the look and feel of the neighborhood, but not being so rigid in that we can allow some different design types in other parts of town, and of course apartment buildings, and the different scale associated with garden apartments versus more dormitory style high rises, and where we would put those. So the density, and then matching up housing with we have to think about the different needs that people have for transportation. So putting density along our corridors where we have bus service and different transportation options, shopping, that things are walkable. That's another characteristic of Mason, is people like to walk. So one of the questions I had the first week on the job is, when is the store gonna put sidewalks out? And so we're working with our stores and our businesses to make sure that we've got sidewalks that people can walk to, that connect the housing with the shopping. So
Okay, great. Those all sound great. Is there a way that you, how do you plan on implementing these changes?
the master plan is that guiding document again, and then from there, all of our policy decisions, ordinances, we take a look at how, what do we need to change to make sure that in terms of zoning, that what gets built on the ground matches what the vision. If you get that box of Legos, the cover is that beautiful vision, and then you open up the box and the instructions are that step by step. So the master plan is sort of the box and the big vision. The instructions, the ordinances are that step by step. Here's how we're going to go about, requiring homes to be built, 20 feet from the sidewalk or whatever it is, or 3 stories. Then also through our capital budget. So another, we talked about SAFE and making sure that the city, that we're investing in our infrastructure, maintaining buildings, maintaining our water, wastewater, sewer systems, all of our utilities, and that we're working cooperatively with our neighbors. A lot of times people say, well, is Mason going to get bigger? And, we work with our neighbors adjacent to us, our townships, to sort of understand what their needs are, and if we need to work with them to supply water or work cooperatively on utilities, that we have the master plan and our ordinances help inform, how we're going to go about that as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming in and talking to us about this. We also appreciate the city looking at this. This is a big issue for us. The housing inventory is probably our biggest issue that we're facing right now, and we're glad that you are and the city's taking the steps to face this challenge.